Okay, so just wanted to share a little bit of additional information about this capture and recording of the storm system that popped up over here in southern Nevada and Henderson. Now, the direction that this camera was aimed was off to the northeast of our location, just to put that into perspective there, okay? And I think that it's curious. We're down in here, right? This is flight tracker radar right now. This is live flight tracker radar. We're down in here in Henderson's, and the camera was aimed off in this direction, actually more off like this, kind of aimed off towards the northeast at an angle off in this direction, okay? Now, you see, two of these loons have already drifted all the way over here to Nevada, but they were off in this direction yesterday during that storm, okay? And this was a recording from late the day before, and they had already started to drift, back towards our location. You can see they're right here. And they had already started to drift more south and come more towards our location. So yesterday they were right about in here, in this area. And the direction that this camera is aimed would have been right over to that direction where they were aimed. And I just, before you go saying that, no, there's no way, there's not, those aren't beams, they're not doing that, they're not manipulating and attempting to control and manipulate our weather and these storms that pop up or anything like that, because that's perfectly natural lightning, right? Yeah, before you go saying that though, just take a look at this video here. And this was posted up 9 years ago, okay, talking about laser weather control.
What if you could fire a laser at the sky and make it rain? Oh, that sounds more interesting. Dave Malkoff explains.
Just another stormy, wet afternoon in central Florida. But what if you could pick up all this rain and move it where it's needed?
Move it where it's needed, right? Well, it's no secret that we've been in a pretty extensive drought, long-standing drought here in southern Nevada. And the way that those storm systems rolled through while I was watching the radar and keeping an eye on the radar, they were just little bursts that were popping up, just little, circles of really intense, uh, precipitation and really dense precipitation that ended up turning into hail. And it was almost like it was targeted. There were just little spots here and there where they were popping up at. And for those that think that they can't do stuff like that, you're just truly ignorant to some of the technology that they have been utilizing for decades now. But this whole
Texas
laser
or
thing,
California. What if a laser could start the rain?
So you can almost use it to set it off.
Matt Mills got into lasers as a
what
kid.
do you
It's
know?
just innately cool.
Now he's part.
It's just innately cool. Let's just beam the upper atmosphere, right? And what a perfect, delivery system, right? One of these loons. These have been typically hovering up at around 60,000 or so, between 50 and 60,000. Well, what do you know? That one is up at 66,600 feet. Isn't that special? I wish they would drift a little bit closer because I sure would put that camera to the test and see if I could zoom in. This one's at 63,700, and this is right to the north of our location. I've been watching in the sky up towards that direction. I haven't really seen anything other than some interesting square shadowy stuff. This one's at 64,000. But typically they've been hanging out between 55. I've seen one of them dip down as low as like 50,000. This one's at 64,000. But yeah, folks, I think yesterday when that storm rolled through and I had this camera aimed off in that direction and it captured this very intense beam in the strike, that this is not the first time I've captured these beams off in that direction too. I have a couple different videos showing these beams popping off, vertical and horizontal. Yeah, I think that might possibly been triggered. It's an intense crack. It rattled the windows for sure. But I think that could have very well been something that was triggered because these loons out here were releasing some really intense energies and pulsing the atmosphere. So, I don't know. I just don't trust them. I really, really don't. And there was 7 up the other day. It started out as 6 when I first noticed them almost a month ago that were drifting off. And they were way over here by Wisconsin and Illinois area. And they've drifted all the way back here. But there were 6 at first, and then the 7th one popped up for a couple days. And now the 7th one disappeared yesterday, which I think is kind of curious. So, yeah, I don't know, folks. I just don't trust them. And to anybody that, that thinks that they don't utilize this kind of stuff and aren't researching it, this was, like I said, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again. This was a video that was put up 9 years ago talking about it and how, it's just innately cool.
Innately cool.
Now he's part of a
You
team
don't
of
say.
scientists and military backers on the cutting edge of a new technology, making lasers powerful enough to reach up here into the sky where a thunderstorm is just about to start.
You
In the
don't
near
say.
future, a pushback storm starter could be a real thing.
Just imagining this situation. If there was a rain.
Could be a thunderstorm is just
push
about to start. In the near
button
future, a push-button storm starter
Storm
could be a real thing.
starter.
Just imagining this situation. If there was a rain cloud that was going to pass over an area of drought, and not rain.
An area of drought. Well, I would definitely say that we have been in an area of drought here in southern Nevada, right?
You know, theoretically induce the rain and get the rain where it's needed.
That storm starter isn't the laser beam itself, but rather a popping energy that comes off of much higher power beams than this one. The problem is those
Yeah, the problem is
pops have always had trouble getting into the sky. Now Matt has discovered a way to get the laser to pop all the way in the clouds. In
don't
theory,
say.
that's what starts a storm. We created a cloud of our own behind Matt's lab. A few months ago, Matt...
Yeah, it's innately cool. But again, because I'm repetitive, I will say it once again. And then they kind of make light of it at the end of this video. I'll put a link in the comment section for this video that was put up 9 years ago talking about using laser weather control. And like I said, because I'm repetitive, this is not the first time that I've captured these horizontal beams. I've captured vertical ones too, ones that look like Tesla coils as well off to the south. But it's just curious to me that the camera was aimed off, just happened to be aimed off in the same direction where these loons have been drifting, right off over in here. Yeah, whatever. Stay mindful, folks. There's definitely more to come if I can help it.